Landfall. Hurricane Isaac slams into the Louisiana coast, bringing violent winds and surging floodwaters.
Good evening. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Stephen Clark. Let's get right now to Stephanie Hockridge in New Orleans.
And we are here on the banks of the Mississippi River as we are just hours away from the Eye of Isaac hitting here in New Orleans. And I got to tell you, it's actually what's behind the eye of this storm that's the biggest concern tonight, because this storm has a really big tail to it. And what that means is it's going to bring a lot of rain and dump it here in New Orleans over a long period of time, and that could cause extensive flooding. From the looks of it, this isn't your typical New Orleans. The streets are empty, the businesses are boarded up, and the restaurants are closed. Most of the town has evacuated as Isaac bears down on the anniversary of Katrina, a storm that's caused catastrophic damage and changed the spirit of this city forever.
It's known in your head it was 7 years ago to the day. It does bring up memories.
But those who decided to stay in the Big Easy are pretty easygoing. How is your bike ride going so far?
This is a little loaner bike, but I think it's a little easier to walk right now than it is to ride.
Understandable, especially since the winds picked up quickly Tuesday afternoon, surging from 40 miles per hour to 70 miles per hour as Isaac made landfall in Louisiana. It's a Category 1 storm, and that's certainly something this town can handle.
I hear that, you know, it's a big thing in the neighborhoods that a lot of people gather together after the storm when the power is out and everyone just has a good time.
Well, you empty your freezer. There's nothing to do with all that food in your freezer, so you might as well, you know, let the good times roll.
And suddenly we're reminded of the New Orleans we all know and love.
People are now going out to get their booze for this one too. So
are you all stocked up?
I'm stocked up.
Yeah, that's right. They're actually calling it a hurricane, so go ahead and drink up. In the meantime, the winds are getting to be above 60 miles per hour, and what that means is it's going to cause a lot of winds and a lot of power outages. But as you can see here in the French Quarter, the power is still going, so we're still looking good. Carolyn, back to you.
So, Stephanie, I heard people mentioning Katrina from 7 years ago. So for the people who haven't evacuated, like right there in the French Quarters, what are people telling you to do tonight, and the people who are surrounding you and have decided to stay?
You know, it's really interesting. I got to tell you, this town is pretty much a ghost town. A lot of people have left. A lot of the businesses, as you saw in the story there, they're boarded up. A lot of places are closed. But when I ask the people who are staying, they say, you know, honestly, it really comes down to one question. Do I want to pay to evacuate my family, or do I want to stay here and deal with the power outages? Because it's really the power outages that's the biggest problem, and that they're having to deal with. You know, you have to get your food, you have to get your water, because everything is closed. So it's kind of a give or take. Do I want to go out of town, or do I want to deal with the inconvenience, Carolyn?
And government leaders aren't saying anything like it's fine for them just to stay there.
You know, with no mandatory evacuations here in the city, there are some mandatory evacuations in the outer portions of Louisiana, especially areas we were hearing that there were 900 homes that were not covered by the levees, that weren't essentially protected by them. And so those places were having mandatory evacuations. But here in the city, that wasn't the case. But a lot of people did choose to leave on their own, even though this is just a Category 1 storm, Carolyn.
All right, Stephanie. Well, you stay safe with your cruise tonight. And of course, we'll hear about what happened in the morning. Stephanie reporting live for us from Louisiana.
And Carolyn, a young Livonia couple now living in New Orleans finds themselves right in the path of that storm tonight, and they can't leave. Megan and Jason Keith live in New Orleans right on the west bank of the Mississippi River, and even though those evacuations have been suggested, Megan told me by Skype a little while ago that why she isn't leaving.
They have evacuated a lot of the civilians. My husband's military, and they're not evacuating the military as of right now. At least the Marine Corps is not evacuated. So we're hoping. We're just gotta wait and, you know, prepare ourselves and try and keep ourselves safe. So I wish we were gone.
Now, Megan did say she lost power tonight, as Stephanie's reporting. She and her neighbors have worked together, boarding up windows, securing outside furniture, storing food, ice, and water. And she said about a dozen of her friends are going to have a hurricane party tonight, right up until they're forced to take shelter.